We actually have a bill in Congress called the Next Generation Fuels Act, which would make 20% ethanol the new certification gasoline going forward, and then later E25. And the beauty of that would be to have, if we had E20 in all the legacy vehicles today, we'd save billions of tons of greenhouse gases. We'd save billions of gallons of gasoline.
Well, Brian, thank you for being here today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Haley.
Great. Well, I want to start by fueling this conversation with some baseline information. Can you explain first to me, what is octane?
Yeah, sure. Octane is a chemical property of the fuel, and it's basically a measure of the fuel's resistance to auto ignition. Auto ignition is a bad thing in gasoline engines. What we want to have happen in a normal spark ignition engine is the spark initiates the combustion, and we want to have this flame front move quickly and smoothly across the combustion chamber. While it's doing that, it's building pressure, it's pushing down on the piston, and that's what makes your engine go. It's what makes your car go. Well, when the pressure and temperature is rising in there, then if the fuel is on the more reactive side, it can actually explode, and that's a bad thing. We don't want that to happen. That's known as knock. Your older viewers will remember hearing audible engine knock back in the 70s. I recall that when I started driving. Today's cars are very sophisticated, and they'll typically mitigate the knock before the driver hears it. But knock is a bad thing. Octane helps us prevent knock. If you have that engine knock, or if you don't have a high enough octane number, you lose power, you lose efficiency, and you can even damage the engine if it's left unmitigated, I guess.
Yeah. And now that we have more of a baseline understanding of octane, why should we care as farmers, as consumers, as people who are driving vehicles about having a high octane, low carbon fuel?
Yeah, that's a great question. Ethanol is made from corn, which is grown there in your state, and ethanol has a very high octane number. It's a really good additive to gasoline. Gasoline is a blend of hundreds and hundreds of different molecules. When the ethanol is in there at 10 or 15 or 20 or 30% or even 85%, it boosts the octane number tremendously, which permits the engine designer to make their engines, make more torque. They can make more power, and they can do it more efficiently. Also, ethanol is domestically produced, so of course it helps with our energy security, and then it's renewable, so it helps us with greenhouse gas emissions. So it's really a win on many fronts, and we really need to be putting more ethanol in our gasoline today, I believe.
And you spoke a little bit there about engine designers being able to work with ethanol. Are today's engines designed to optimize higher blends of ethanol, or is that something we're hoping to do in the future?
So I believe today's vehicles, the majority of the vehicles on the road today could run 20% ethanol with no problems. They're not really optimized for it. Most of them are not. We actually have a bill in Congress called the Next Generation Fuels Act, which would make 20% ethanol the new certification gasoline going forward, and then later E25. And the beauty of that would be to have, if we had E20 in all the legacy vehicles today, we'd save billions of tons of greenhouse gases. We'd save billions of gallons of gasoline, and then the new vehicles that are designed to use it would have higher efficiency and better fuel economy. You just give the automakers, another tool in their toolkit, if you will. It's not all just about electric cars, hybrid cars, plug-in hybrids. Any vehicle with an engine is going to do better with a higher octane fuel.
And so, exactly, I know you've done a lot of research. You've conducted a lot of experiments. How does using high octane fuel or high octane E25, affect the fuel economy of such as a Mini Cooper or a Ford F-150?
So when I was still at Oak Ridge, we did a couple of demonstration projects for the corn growers, and We took a 2015 Mini Cooper. It has a 2-liter turbocharged engine in it, which is premium recommended. So if you put a high octane E25 in there, the vehicle responds very well to that. And we saw the vehicle was a little bit faster and had a little bit higher efficiency. And then just for grins, we pretended that 2-liter engine in the Mini Cooper was actually in a 4,500-pound sedan. And some people thought that was kind of a crazy thing to do. But if you look around today, you'll see Audis and Mercedes and a lot of mid-sized family vehicles with these small turbo direct injection engines.
No, that's great for us all to hear. And I thank you for summarizing that in such a great way. Before we do finish today, I do need to share our not to be corny joke. So why did the farmer become an automotive engineer?
I don't know.
He wanted to see his corn really get moving. Pretty corny, but we'll take it. That one was probably one of our better ones.
I'll be sure and share that.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here, Brian, and we look forward to having you back on sometime soon.
Very good meeting you, Haley. Thanks very much.